Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to a very important webinar on cost of education and how to pay for it. As you know, that college application season is just around the corner. Students are going to start applying to uh, US and UK and other colleges abroad starting as early as next month. Some of the Indian colleges application cycles also start around the same time, the private Indian colleges. We're talking about the applications for admissions into next year. Uh, so obviously that application season starts for US mostly by 1st of August, and for UK it starts in October. And similarly, a lot of Indian private Indian universities have followed suit, and they also start their applications around the same time. And just like US and UK, or even Singapore and Hong Kong, or other European universities, Indian colleges also have multiple application cycles. Uh, so the point is that since college applications are going to be starting soon, it's important to understand uh, what is the cost of education and how to fund that. So that's the purpose behind this session. I have with me our partners, uh, Mr. Dev Mehta and Ms. Payal Chawla. I will just be introducing them. The name of their company is FRR Forex. I am from Crayons Academy for Skills Excellence. Uh, we guide and mentor students to help them achieve their full potential. We provide a systematic and well-planned path to success in sports and academics. I'm going to just do a very, very brief introduction and then obviously lead into college costs and how to pay for it, and then introduce Dave and his team in a little more detail, and then have Dave present his part of what he wants to present in terms of how uh, those costs are paid for in terms of loans and remittances. So the services that Crayon Skills provides are academic admissions to colleges in India and abroad, college sports admissions anywhere in the world. We have a very interesting athlete development program, and we have recently launched a CUET online coaching program, which is in fact now also hybrid. So we have coaching centers also in Delhi NCR. We'll jump straight into the presentation. Of course, the most important question is, what is cost of education? How does one calculate it? And this is where budgeting for a college is most important, because colleges abroad have become very, very expensive. And then it's important to plan for them and budget for the education early, and then see how when one can pay for it. Uh, Private Indian universities have also become expensive, so it's important to plan ahead. Now, when somebody is planning to budget for colleges, we call it cost of attendance or cost of education. You must factor in the application fee, because especially abroad, I've noticed that over the years, students tend to apply to multiple colleges in multiple countries. So there is a cost to applying to colleges also. For example, US colleges, some of them charge $40 to $50 just for an application fee. If you end up applying to $20, 20 colleges, that's a whole lot of colleges, and that's quite a bit of money. So application fee is part of your cost of attendance. All the standardized tests that one may take, whether it's the SAT, which is used in the US. In fact, some Indian universities are also accepting the SAT, the GMAT and GRE for postgraduate admissions, the TOEFL and IELTS for English proficiency tests. These tests also cost money, so that is also counted as cost of attendance. Then your visa fees, and the biggest expense, of course, is your tuition fees and other fees that come along with the tuition fee. There are administrative charges, there is internet charges. So you really have to read the fine print on what all is included in the tuition fee. And then, of course, your room and board, which means room and board is basically accommodation and food, books and supplies, your travel abroad expenses. Sometimes colleges have programs which are in different countries for one semester. So that also is a cost. It, although the tuition fee includes that, but there will be some additional cost, a small amount of cost. Health and medical insurance is also a cost. Some colleges allow you to get insurance from India. Most colleges will have you take insurance from their country itself so that you're covered completely. Uh, and then, of course, there's the big variable of personal expenses, uh, which can really vary based on your living style. It includes clothing, phones, uh, entertainment, leisure. What will you do during the break time? If you end up traveling to a relative during the break time, that's also cost of attendance, extra housing charges, so on and so forth. So all of that put together is your cost of attendance. Now, how does one pay for this cost of attendance? Well, that's what this session is about. And of course, the first thing that we'll jump right into is scholarships. Uh, Now, this is such a vast topic because I wanted this to include all countries and not just the US or UK specific. It includes any country that you would go to. So what we did was we broadly specified it into three categories, saying there are university specific scholarships, there are government funded scholarships, and there are non-government funded scholarships. Now, if we look at government funded scholarships, the United Kingdom, just talking about these countries as an example, has government funded scholarships that you can apply for. So the Scotland Saltire scholarships or the Chevening scholarship, which is very popular, is is uh, is a scholarship that one can apply for going to colleges in the UK. Uh, you have to remember that all of these scholarships have application deadlines, and it's important to start planning in advance. And most of these application deadlines finish by 31st of December of the year that you're applying to, for the year that you're applying to for next year. So if you're going to college in 2025, please plan well ahead because lots of these scholarship deadlines will end this year. Similarly, US has a Fulbright Foreign Student Scholarship, Hubert Humphrey Scholarship, and these are big scholarships. That's why I've written them down. Uh, India has the Central Sector Scholarship Scheme. Yes, there's also the AICTE Pragati scheme, the AICTE Saksham scheme, Pradhan Mantri Research Fellowship. All countries have government-funded scholarships, which one can apply for in spite of being an international student. But you have to make sure that you move early for these because the scholarship requirements are quite stringent and require a lot of uh, time and submission process. Non-government scholarships are mostly scholarships which are set up by foundation and trusts. So in the UK, you have the Preply Scholarship or the Charles Wallace India Scholarship. In the US, very interesting for everybody to note that College Board has a College Board India Scholars Program. So College Board is the entity which is conducting the SAT and the ACT, and they have an India Scholars Program wherein if you have 1300 or above in the SAT, then you may qualify for merit-based, come need-based scholarships. And College Board also offers up to 90% off on the registration fee. It also offers scholarships at participating Indian universities. So College Board is the entity that is conducting the SAT. That SAT is accepted by a lot of Indian universities, and College Board offers scholarships at those participating Indian universities as well. So these are all non-government funded scholarships. And as you can see in India, there's Aga Khan Foundation, Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund, Mahindra Merit Scholarship, Infosys. These scholarships from India are applicable for students who want to study abroad as well. So it's not just that these Indian scholarships are only for students who are going to Indian universities. So these are non-government funded scholarships. Now, some of the most common scholarships that one will see is the university specific scholarship. And this is where it gets quite vast. So when you are applying to a university, when you make your list of, let's say, 20 universities or 10 universities, make sure you go into the university website and explore the scholarships that the universities are offering because universities offer many different types of scholarships and at many different levels. So there could be scholarships as low as $1,000 to a full scholarship. So some public universities offer president scholarships, which are at times 100% scholarship. Those are all merit based. They are not need based. You have to qualify for them. US specifically offers many specific scholarships, such as maybe there are Asian student scholarships, Black and Hispanic scholarships, Native American scholarships. So they have scholarships set up in their university for different eligibility criteria. Similarly, UK also has different scholarships for with different criteria where international students can apply. And Indian universities, private Indian universities, have also followed suit in the same way. So there are merit scholarships available at Christ University, Ashoka University. Uh, NUS in Singapore has a very interesting international undergraduate scholarship where one can apply, and scholarships can go up to 90% also. So government funded scholarships, non-government funded scholarships, university specific scholarships. The biggest advice that I can give is narrow it down your college list early and make sure you review the colleges that you're applying to and see which scholarships you are eligible for and make sure that you apply for them in time. Athletic scholarships is something that, of course, we are experts in because we are experts in college sports admissions. Uh, just like academic scholarships, athletic scholarships are also merit based. UK has the Loughborough Sports Scholarship, the International Sporting Excellence Award at University of Nottingham. Similarly, many UK universities have scholarships. US has a very interesting layout of scholarships, which is governed by the NCAA, which is the entity that supports and promotes and regulates college sports in the US. So almost 2,000 colleges, or sorry, almost 1,200 colleges fall under the NCAA rules, and they offer different types of scholarships for different sports. So women's tennis, you can be eligible for 100% scholarship. Uh, Men's soccer, men's basketball, swimming, all sports. I mean, I can name all the sports, golf. There are different types of scholarships offered. If you get if you get selected for their team, you'll be eligible for a scholarship. So obviously, what we advise students is aim for the team, and the scholarship is a happy byproduct of that. So the moment you get selected to play for a team, you'll get a scholarship, and grades also play a big role in those scholarships in the US, because obviously a coach in the US wants a good player as well as a good student who fits the academic standard of that university. India also offers Indian Oil Sports Scholarship, Airport Authority. So a lot of PSUs have set up sports scholarships in India. So we talked about cost of attendance, and how to pay for that cost of attendance is through one, scholarships, and I laid out the broadly three different types of scholarships that are available. The other avenue for you to take for you to pay for your cost of attendance is financial aid. Now, I want to remind you, scholarship is merit based. You have to apply for it. You have to be eligible for it. Financial aid is need based. They are both very different. So financial aid comes in also three forms. So there's a federal or state financial aid. In the US specifically, this is called FAFSA, federal and state aid. Then there's the non-federal aid, which is basically private aid given by the university, given by a private university. And then the third is a work study. Now, I included FAFSA in this specifically for a reason that a lot of students apply to US universities. And interestingly, there are a lot of uh, US citizens or people of Indian origin who are living in India are in spite of being US citizens, are living in India, have done their high schooling in India, and then going to the US to study. So there are US citizens living in India. They are also eligible for FAFSA. Uh, you just have to be a US citizen. And FAFSA is very interesting because it calculates the amount of aid based on your ability to pay. It does not discriminate, unlike, and I purposely didn't put the Indian government funded schemes here because that discriminates in terms of many things. It discriminates in terms of caste. It discriminates in terms of OBC categories. It discriminates in terms of some particular states, whereas FAFSA doesn't discriminate, just purely sees your ability to pay. If you're a US citizen, whether you get $5,000 or you get $50,000, that depends on your ability to pay. But you have to be a US citizen. And the other aid, which is what almost all of our students apply for, is the non-federal aid, which international students are eligible for. And that is applied through a portal called the CSS Profile. It's an online application, and it's used by colleges and scholarship programs to award non-federal institutional aid. So again, I'm repeating, this is not a loan. This is just aid based on your ability to pay. So as an international student, you can submit your parents' income or financial statements, your income tax returns, your expenses, and they will calculate how much aid you are eligible for. Of course, that is also weighed along your uh, grades. So some colleges look at it from the perspective of aid slash scholarship. Others look at it purely on the basis of need. Uh, in fact, I would like to add over here that Ivy League colleges don't give any merit-based scholarships. They only provide aid. So in Ivy League, you would be applying for a aid based on your ability to pay. Ivy Leagues don't offer any athletic scholarship either. So it's purely aid. In another interesting fact that I would like to share is that a private US university, you can add athletic scholarship along with aid. So that can become a pretty handsome amount. So let's say you're going to an NCAA Division One college where you're eligible for athletic scholarship. You can add financial aid on top of that as well. So that can become a pretty handsome amount. And the third avenue to pay for your cost of attendance is, of course, work study. That is basically it provides part-time employment to students with financial aid, and it allows them to earn money to help pay for their educational expenses. Obviously, you cannot be working full time because you're a student full time. Uh, the work study rules are different in different countries. In the US, there's a 20-hour limit per week. Uh, that amount of money is good enough for, let's say, your your personal expenses maybe, but of course, it's not big enough to pay for your entire college fees. Uh, there are many on-campus jobs that are offered, like library assistants, research assistants, administrative and supportive roles, and it varies uh, country to country. And when you apply for aid, work study can become part of non-federal aid. And it's not mandatory that you have to take up work study. You can opt out of it, obviously, but then you will lose that amount of aid. Let's say you say that, okay, this semester I'd like work study, and you apply for it. And the next semester you don't want work study because you've got too much of study load, you can opt out of it also. I want to point out that aid is renewable. You have to apply for it each year. Uh, whereas scholarship is not. Of course, eligibility changes based on your academic standing, but that's something that you must keep in mind. So this is broadly what is cost of attendance and what are the different types of scholarships available and how to apply for them. And I'm repeating, as the application windows open, scholarship applications will also open. The sooner you apply for them, the better it is. Athletic scholarships are offered if you are part of the team. That's a happy byproduct of scholarship. And I want to move on to the next segment of this session by talking about our partners who are on this session with us. I want to introduce Dev Mehta and Ms. Payal Chawla. They are part of an organization called FRR4X. FRR4X is an RBI licensed entity authorized to operate in the retail forex markets in India. Apart from offering services to travelers moving in and out of India, they specialize in facilitating transfers for students and parents for universities, fees and living expenses. And FRR Forex has recently expanded into offering education loans as well, facilitating education loans as well. Uh, FRR Forex has serviced more than 2,700 students, and Dave, who's on this call with us, is a third generation running his family business. He's graduated from Pace University in USA with a BBA in finance, and he completed his MBA from Oxford University. Payal is vice president of the company and handles the operations in North. Over to you, Dave. Uh, Thank you for being on this session.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. And thanks a lot, Vikram. Thanks a lot for having us here today for such a comprehensive and wonderful session. Typically, there are two ways to finance an educate. And, Typically, there are two ways to finance your overseas education. The first is obviously, uh, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, is self-funding. So either from your personal savings or from your family's savings. The other way to go about it is taking an education loan. So obviously, many of you may be familiar with the fact that you can take an education loan from lenders in India. So basically, your banks, NBFCs like Credila, Auxilo, Avance, etc. But what very many people are not aware of some of the nitty-gritties of the two types of education loans that are available, which, as you can see on the screen, there is a secured loan and an unsecured loan. So let's go through the secured loan first. As the name suggests, if you wish to take a secured loan, um, you must have a collateral or a security, which, given the cost of education, is pretty high. So in most cases, the collateral needs to be property. The interest rates for secured loans range from about 8 to 10%, depending from depending lender to lender. Also, assuming that the security that you're giving is a residential property, you would generally get up to 85% of your property value. And if it's a commercial property, you would get up to 65% of the commercial property value. The repayment generally spans over 10 years, wherein, for the first 3 or 4 years of the education, you would only have to service the interest component. Um, if you wish to foreclose your loan earlier, there are no prepayment charges. However, now there are clauses laid out by most of the lenders where you cannot foreclose your loan for up to 2 years. So most lenders have this clause where you cannot foreclose the loan up to 2 years from the time that you have availed it. Lastly, under Section 80E, there will be tax benefits for the remitter, which means that if you will only receive tax benefits for the interest component that the remitter is paying. Similarly, there is another loan, which is the unsecured loan. And as the name suggests, here you obviously don't have to give any security like a property or any of that. Obviously, the interest rates are a little higher, tend to be a little higher. They range from about 10 to 12%. Also, unsecured loans are only given to graduate students, right? So only if you are going abroad for your master's can you get an unsecured loan, but you must have a co-borrower who has a good credit standing. So generally, parents end up have to being co-borrowers on the loan. Generally speaking, the maximum sanction amount for an unsecured loan is about 50 lakhs of rupees, though depending on which lender you have taken the loan through, plus which university you are attending and for what course, this 50 lakhs can be extended to 75 lakhs of rupees. But this is, only on a case-to-case basis. 50 lakhs is generally the norm for an unsecured loan. Like the secured loan, the repayment clauses are the same. 10 years, you service the interest you service only the interest in the time period of the study. Um, like the secured loan, you cannot foreclose the loan for up to 2 years from the time that you have availed it. And if you wish to foreclose it after that, there are no prepayment charges. In the unsecured loan as well, that there are tax benefits for the remitter under Section 80E. Coming to a very, very interesting education loan proposition that very many people are not aware of is that you can get an education loan in the US. So the first and the most important criteria is that you must have a you must have a co-signer who's either a US citizen or a green card holder who is willing to guarantee the loan. Basis the co-signer's credit score and credit history, the interest rates get determined, and as of today, they can be as low as 5 to 5.5%. But obviously, all this is dependent on your co-signer's credit score. The amount that you can avail is the entire amount as mentioned on the student's I-20, which means that you can avail an education loan for your tuition fees as well as your living expenses. Unlike India, in the US, the repayment period, you will get a choice of 3 repayment periods. The minimum is either 5 or 7 years, depending on which lender you are going with. And then obviously all lenders tend to give you 10 and 15-year repayment as well. Of uh, uh, Naturally, the 5 or 7 year will have the lowest interest, and the 10 and 15 years will have the progressively the higher interest rates. If you wish to foreclose your loan, there are no prepayment charges. And the other thing to note here is the EMI starts from 6 months after the student's graduation. So suppose the student is graduating in May 2028, then the EMI for the student will begin from December 2028. So that is with regards to education loans. But what is also a very, very important aspect of your overseas education is how are you going to transfer money overseas? So, the first and the most important thing that people are not aware is that as we are also an RBI licensed entity, and we are also allowed to facilitate transfers for students who are going abroad to study. The second question that I always get is how is FRR Forex cheaper than a bank? Or how can FRR Forex help me save money? So, the best example that I have is, all parents would be having bank accounts with banks like HDFC, Kotak, ICICI, State Bank of India, etc. But have you ever realized that none of these banks advertise their foreign exchange services, right? So, you'll never see a print ad in a newspaper or a magazine or on a hoarding or a billboard that says transfer your university fees with us. Banks are always promoting savings banks, savings bank account, fixed deposits, insurance, etc. The reason why this happens is for a bank, foreign exchange is a value added service. So it's like customer aaya, customer ne rate pucha, to humne rate diya, right? They really don't go out and actively promote their foreign exchange services. For us, foreign exchange is our bread and butter, but ultimately, even we have partnerships with banks through whom we process these remittances through. But what we do is we negotiate $100 million rate with the bank for the entire year, which gives us a significantly higher bargaining power compared to you as an individual who, you might still be transferring 20, 30, $40,000 a semester or a year, which is a lot of money. But that we would also be able to, uh, uh, we also have a significantly higher bargaining power because we have a negotiated rate for $100 million. And that is where we are able to pass on the benefit to you. The saving typically, as you will see in the following slides, lies anywhere between 70 to 80 paisa per US dollar or per Canadian dollar or per pound, whatever you may say. So the saving can be pretty significant. Also, as you will see in the following slides, our processing charges come to about 500 rupees, whereas with a bank, it is anywhere between 1,500 to 2,500 rupees. For those of you who are, whose children might be going to the US or are already going to the US, Flywire is a very, very popular payment portal, especially for universities in the US, and is used to accept international wires, which also secures you. So we do not want you to get into any foreign exchange violation because foreign exchange violations in India are, treated pretty severely, and some to even a criminal offense. A second thing that I would like you to remember is that whatever we are doing is in accordance with Flywire's guidelines as well. Similarly, similar to Flywire, there is another payment portal, very popular payment portal called Convera, very popular amongst universities in Canada, and also in the UK. Concept is the same, exactly like Flywire. Whenever you read Flywire, whenever you read Convera, don't get confused. I'm sure we'll be able to help you out. So, this concept typically applies for all the currencies, whether it's the euro, pound, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, whatever it is. The concept is the same. You save anywhere between 70 to 90 paisa per currency. Every single tax, with every single remittance, we do provide you a tax invoice and the Swift copy. But if you wish to get the TCS certificate, you can request it and we will provide it to you once the TCS has been filed.
Thank you so much, Dev. That was very, very insightful, especially the part about TCS, because a lot of parents have, there's not enough clarity on that. And I just want to put this out there that obviously we wouldn't have recommended FRR Forex if it was not for my personal experience, and it has been wonderful. I've used their services myself for my child's education remittances, and it's always been a wonderful interaction. Uh, like I mentioned, cost of education and how to pay for the education is a very important aspect. Uh, it's equally as important as narrowing down the college list. Budgeting is as important, right? And that I hope this session provides all that insight to parents.